Kindred Spirits. I'm your host, Kristi Brower, and of course, you're listening live here on Marvelous Mondays on 1-2 Radio. I'm excited to be here with you as always, and I want to invite you to join me in the chat room. You can do that by going to 12radio.com and clicking on chat, and that will take you right into our Facebook group. I know the vast majority of you already know that and are right there, but if you don't, and if you're not, then you can simply ask to join, and my producer, Scott, will let you right in the door. And just something cool to note, we are right now at exactly 3,100 members in the chat room. That blows me away. I gotta tell you, that is way cool. I am live on Facebook Live in the chat room, and so if you want to watch the show, you certainly can. You can just listen. That video is also available after the fact. So if you are listening in the archives or in the on-demand or in a replay, you can actually go and find this show in several places. I broadcast it live in the radio chat room and also on my fan page, which is Kristi A. Brower. And then I also always put it up on the homepage of my website, kristibrower.com, for the week. So there are lots of different ways to see this show or listen to this show if you are interested. So welcome if you're here live with me today, and welcome if you're listening to me in the on-demand or in the replay schedule. I'm happy to be here with all of you in whatever time you happen to be here. Okay, my gosh, I have so much to share with you this week. I had one of my favorite experiences of the year this weekend, which is our local Rock and Gem show. I love the local Rock and Gem show. I have so much fun with it. I'm reaching over here to grab the things that are new that I bought at the Rock and Gem show. I'm going to talk about one of these stones today, but I'm going to show you all of them on the video if you haven't seen them. I live in a very small town, and we only have one Rock and Gem show, and it lasts for 2 days. And there's only one big rock seller there, really. Well, there's a couple. But a lot of them are local lapidaries and stuff like that. But there's one big seller that I buy some things from them every year because they have things I've never seen before other than in my books and online. When you live in a small place, you don't always have access to, everything that you want to see. And so I got some new things this time that I'm pretty excited about. So one of them is chrysocolla, and that is my stone of the week. And so you're going to see, I'm holding it up in the video right now, but you're going to see it in the chat room later with a postcard that I made because it is the stone of the week. We'll talk more about it. But the other two stones are actually two things I've never seen or had before, and I'm really excited about them. One is called Royal Imperial Jasper. So I'm just holding that one up in the video as well. Royal Imperial Jasper forms in nodules. So they're kind of like a little geode. And they cut them in half and then polish the inside. And the inside can be all different colors, all different patterns. The piece that I bought is is an olive green color with some cream banding in it. It is absolutely gorgeous. I stood in front of the Royal Imperial Jasper for 15 minutes trying to decide what piece to buy. Because one of the things that I have to do when I go to the Rock and Gem show is I have to give myself a budget. Because if not, I will go crazy and spend everything I've got. I'm serious, I will. So I have to walk in the door with a certain amount of money to spend, knowing that that's all I've got, so I've got to make it fit. So I chose a piece of Royal Imperial Jasper that doesn't have a twin. So lots of them have a twin that is, so it's two pieces like a geode that's been cut apart. I bought a piece that the other side, the man selling them said probably broke when it was cut. And so that's why there was only one piece. So it was less expensive. And I bought it so that I could get some other things as well, because I wanted this big, beautiful piece of chrysocolla. I love chrysocolla, and I've had tumbled pieces many times, but I've never had a big, gorgeous piece like this one. And so I really wanted it. And then the other thing that I bought is a fossil. But it's a fossil that has a very special name and meaning in the metaphysical world. If you can see it, it looks like a big piece of sandstone that is sort of hollowed out in a spiral pattern in the center. So this is, it's a fossil, but it's actually in the metaphysical world, it's known as the Mary Magdalene Chalice Well. And I have only heard of these. I've never seen one, except for my sister Katie has one. You may have seen her use it in grids on her show. But they had pieces of this that were way bigger than anything I had ever seen before. So I was really excited to get that. So you're going to see me writing and talking about the Royal Imperial Jasper and the Mary Magdalene Chalice Well in the next couple of weeks. But today it's going to be about chrysocolla. So just wanted to share that with you. Was really excited to get to go. I love the big rock and gem shows. I've been down in Arizona to one. They're really a lot of fun, but I have to travel a long ways to go to the big ones. And so I look forward to our little one every year and plan to buy some special things and make sure that I add to my collection things I don't have. So that was my opportunity to do that this year. So I just wanted to share that with you. I'm a giant rock nerd, so I love all kinds of stones and try to have pieces of everything that I can get my hands on. Okay, so I want to get to our topic today, and then we'll do our meditation and just have lots of things to share. So I've been thinking a lot lately about how it's been a fairly rough start to this year, and we are now nearly done with the 4th month of 2017. And I was thinking about how some of the time this year it has felt like I have used the adage of walking through mud, that I feel like I'm walking through mud, that I'm slogging through heavy energy that is making it challenging to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish. I feel like the mud has cleared. I feel like in a lot of ways the energy has shifted. I think it might have something to do with moving into Taurus, that Taurus is a very positive and grounded energy, and I think that's part of it. But there's been a shift in energy that I feel like we're moving a little easier. But one of the things that I know it happens to me and it happens to all of us, I think, is that sometimes we get stuck in the muck. Once we get in, it's hard to get out. Have you ever stepped in mud, like real mud, like clear up to your knee? Have you ever noticed how much more effort it takes to get out of it than to get into it? Have you ever been in a position where you stepped up out of the mud and it took your shoe? I have. I live in Idaho. I live in a crazy place, and sometimes it gets very, very muddy here. And so I definitely have had that experience, and I was thinking about it and realizing that it's much easier to get into a negative situation or a low vibrating situation than it is to get out. It's like stepping into the mud. Stepping in is easy. It's the stepping out that's hard. So my article this week for the Power Peak, which is Mark Husson's newsletter that comes out every Saturday night, is called Getting Out of the Muck. Because I've been thinking a lot about, okay, so we've been through a rough period. The energy is lightening up. How do we make sure that we get up out of it? That even when it isn't really there anymore, how do we make sure that we aren't still living in it? So that's my topic for today, is getting out of the muck. Our Western culture has a tendency to glorify being in a bad situation, right? There are a lot of phrases out there that I feel like sort of encourage us to stay in them. Sort of like misery loves company. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Or bad things come in threes. Those statements to me all keep us in the muck, right? They keep us down. They keep us expecting bad things to happen. They keep us expecting one more negative thing to come, that we're not done. Something else is coming. Things come in threes. Oh no, I've only had one bad experience. There are 2 more on the way. That kind of thinking really does keep us in a low space. Keeps us in the muck. So really, getting out of the muck really starts with our thoughts. Because often, the negative situation exists mostly in our heads. Don't you think? So if you get in the habit of thinking negatively, if you get in the habit of thinking that you're in a bad situation or something negative is going on in your life, you stay in the habit until you change the habit. The situation can change, but the thinking can stay the same unless we are very intentional about getting up out of it. So now is a really good time to take an opportunity to assess your thinking. So do some journaling and write about what has really been on your mind lately. Just be honest about what you've been thinking about most. And then kind of step back from it and assess it from an objective space. If you were reading somebody else's diary, for example, think of it that way. Are the thoughts mostly positive or negative? Are they about other people or about yourself? Where is your primary focus? Is your primary focus in the muck? Is your primary focus in the negative situation that maybe doesn't even really exist anymore, but you're still stuck in it? Are you spending your mental energy focused on your troubles or other people's troubles? We do a lot of thinking that is unconscious. And so unless we become aware of what we're thinking about and become a good steward of our thoughts, it's easy to stay in that space even when our situation has changed. So you can shift your thoughts to your conscious awareness, choosing your focus to intentionally keep your thoughts positive, solution-focused, and on yourself. One big mistake we make when we're stuck in the muck is we stay focused on other people's problems. We stay focused on other people's issues, and that keeps us stuck in their muck, right? We do this, don't we? We do this especially as light workers, as healers. We get stuck in other people's muck. So today, I want to do a meditation that you're all very familiar with, but I think is important when it comes to getting out of the muck, is to clear your bubble. Because if you have a lot of other people's emotional energy floating around in your space, you are stuck in other people's muck. And so this is part of getting up out of it. So we're going to go ahead and do our meditation. If you haven't done this one before, it's called Clear Your Bubble. I bet most of you are familiar with it. So close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. Allow your body to settle and your mind to go quiet. And now bring your attention to your bubble, the energy that emanates out from your body to your arm's length. Take a moment to observe what is swirling around inside your bubble. Is there energy belonging to other people in your bubble? Is there energy here that is lowering your vibration, causing anxiety and emotional upset? Take a moment to identify that. And now let's clear your bubble. So first, in your mind's eye, screw a garden hose to the outside of your bubble. Now, imagine a vortex of white light open up in the earth next to you. Drop the end of the garden hose into the vortex of white light. And then watch as the energy in your bubble that does not belong to you drain out into the vortex of white light. This energy will be transmuted into love and released from you forever. So let's just give a moment for our bubbles to clear. And now, once your bubble is empty, unscrew the garden hose from your bubble. And then draw your attention to your heart chakra. Take a moment to observe what colors do you see or feel here in your heart. It can be any colors. It doesn't matter what they are. Just take a moment to identify what's in your heart. Now, push your heart chakra energy out, filling your bubble with your own energy, creating a sacred space of peace and protection for you, giving a clear boundary between you and everyone else. And when your bubble is full of your own energy, take 3 deep breaths. And open your eyes. Okay, very good. I hope you enjoyed that meditation. And that is one that is available for free download on my website, which is kristibrower.com. And that is a very powerful little exercise to help you to get up out of the mud. It's important to make sure that you aren't carrying around other people's worries, other people's emotions, other people's muck. We get sucked into it, don't we? And part of that is in our thinking, because we have a tendency as healers and empaths and light workers and people on a spiritual path that it is our responsibility to solve other people's issues. We get sucked in sometimes, don't we? It's really important to maintain that boundary. Here's my bubble. That is my energy. This is my space. And your space is out there. Doesn't mean that you don't still have empathy for people, that you don't still feel emotional, and feel emotions and feel connected to people and want to help and support. But it does mean that you are creating a conscious space that does not take on other people's energy. It's very key to staying out of the muck. Okay, something else that we have to look at when it comes to getting out of the muck is self-care. When we are going through a stressful situation or, struggling through a hard time or, feeling like we're working extra hard or that we're focused a lot on our emotional health or, if we get really focused in one area, we often forget to take good care of ourselves. We may not be eating as well as we should. We may not be getting some physical activity. We may not be seeing our medical practitioners as often as we should. We may get so focused on one particular thing that everything else just sort of falls away. This is not a good idea, because this is when you get stuck in your muck that you can add a medical issue to the list of things that you're struggling with. So it's a good idea to remind yourself regularly to take good care of you. Make an appointment with your doctor or your whatever medical practitioner you see if you haven't been in a while. Get checked out. Make sure that everything is going okay with you physically. Realize that often emotional symptoms have a physical cause. Feeling tired, depressed, and weak keeps us in the muck. We need to eat well. We need to get some exercise. We need to get plenty of sleep. We need to take care of this physical vehicle that we are driving around in this lifetime. Meditation and energy healing are also key to getting out of the muck, but they only help if we actually do them. And one of the things I know about myself and about my clients, because we talk about this regularly, is that when you need your spiritual practice, that part of self-care that takes care of you spiritually, when you need it the most is when you often forget to do it. It's one of those things that gets easy to let go of because it takes effort to continue it. It takes effort to keep working on it. And so it's good to remind yourself. It can be helpful to set some reminders in your phone. And if you don't carry a cell phone a lot, try something else. But if you do, you can there are mindfulness apps that you can get for your phone, or you can just use the calendar app in your phone to set some reminders that go off at certain times to remind you to stop and just take 10 deep breaths. Stop and meditate for 5 or 10 minutes. Something to bring yourself back to you and back to yourself, and returning your focus back to where you're headed. Positive thinking about where you're going in life rather than where you've been in the past is a really important part of staying out of the muck. Practice staying in the moment. Nothing drags us back into that muck quicker than ruminating on the past. It really does. Because no matter how much you think about the things that have happened in the past, you cannot change them. Thinking about them doesn't change them at all. It's important to accept your life as it is now. Choose to adjust to your new normal. So if you've been through something significant that changed your life forever, as many of us have recently, you have to accept your new normal. Getting stuck in thinking about the past or thinking about how you wish things could be or how you wish they had turned out differently than they did doesn't do anything but keep you stuck in the muck. Resistance to change serves only to prolong our stay in the muck, doesn't it? So the longer you resist the new normal, the more you stay stuck there. So I want you to really think about that. Where are you resisting? Are you resisting in a place that is keeping you stuck in the past, that is keeping you stuck in a painful place in your life? If so, it's important to accept your new normal. The new normal is a term that my sisters and I have used very regularly over the years after our mom died and again after our dad died, adjusting to the new normal, which was life without them, life in a very different way when my parents were both gone. Thinking through sort of how I helped myself get out of the muck particularly after my dad died. We were sort of in this holding pattern after my mom died because my dad, immediately after my mom passed, my dad's cancer treatment stopped working. And within just a few months, he was on hospice. And so we sort of went through this 18-month holding pattern where it was just sort of in survival mode, really, because we went from losing one to almost immediately losing the other. My dad died 18 months after my mom. So after my dad died is when I really felt like, okay, I finally have to adjust to this new normal of what it's like for both of my parents to be gone. One of the things that I've worked on a lot, and I still work on it, I'm not saying that this is easy all the time. I know that it isn't, but I know it's something that helps, which is to look for the positives in every situation, to really practice being an optimist. Because every experience teaches us something, and even the most difficult things have a positive side. So intentionally thinking through things you have experienced and pulling out the good things really helps you get up out of the muck. Because focusing on the negative in the past doesn't do you any good. You cannot change it. And all that you do is get yourself stuck in that place when you think of it over and over again. So I'll give you a couple of examples. These come from my experience with my parents passing away. So they died 18 months apart in 2011 and 2013. And of course it's been very painful and I miss them every day. But I do see some positives in my new normal without them. And one of them is that I am stronger and more independent. They aren't here to give me wise advice. So I have to become wise. I have to be the adult now. I have to be the one that knows the answers and knows how to do things. It really pushed me to take that next step when I couldn't fall back on my mom or my dad to help me with a situation and solve a problem. I needed to really be able to do it myself. And I was 35 when my mom died and 37 when my dad died. And so it's not like I was a kid, but even in my 30s, I still relied on my parents quite a bit, and had a lot of questions for them and always felt that they knew more about life than I did. And so that's something that you realize when you're an adult that you don't know when you're a teenager, is that your parents are actually very smart and they know a lot. So, I not being able to pick up the phone and call either of them when I had a problem really has forced me into being stronger and being more independent and being more confident in myself that I can handle situations. And so that's been a real positive that I have chosen to take from the experience of losing my mom and dad. Being able to focus on the positives has given me peace and encouraged me to be happy in my new normal. When I could accept it and see some of the good things that came from it, it really did help me to grow in a good way. So that's something I encourage you to do that helps to get up out of the muck, is to really focus on your new normal and look for the positives. What are the good things? Because there are some. It's okay to accept that there are some. It's okay. My dad was on hospice for 10 months. He was very, very sick. and he was in a great deal of pain. And so, although I miss him every day, I was grateful for him when he was able to pass, because he was in such a terrible situation that in a lot of ways there was a very strong sense of relief when he died. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. I think it's okay to accept his death and to allow it to have been a good thing. He lived a good life. He was a happy person. He made other people happy. And when he was ready to go, it was okay to let him go. It's okay to look at it that way. One of the things that keeps us in the muck are societal norms that tell us how we are supposed to feel about things. How long you're supposed to grieve. How sad you're supposed to be. How angry or upset you're supposed to be. Well, everybody handles challenging situations differently. And nobody has to see it the same way as anybody else. And so being pressured into feeling bad about something that you actually feel okay about isn't worth it. It isn't worth it at all, and it keeps you in the muck. And certainly losing my dad is one of those things that I feel that way about, because I really feel like in the moment it was the right thing. He was ready to go, and he was done being in pain. So it was okay to allow that. It was okay to let him go. It was okay to recognize that we didn't have to hold him here in pain anymore. So just something to think about when it comes to getting out of the muck is how do you shift your focus? How do you look at things in a positive light and allow yourself to, that's okay? So one of the ways that I would recommend that you do that is by getting a piece of chrysocolla. So chrysocolla is a very beautiful blue stone. It is a copper-based stone, and it is often formed in the presence of malachite and azurite, and sometimes you see them all together. And I have malachite that has chrysocolla formed with it, but I've never had a significant piece of chrysocolla that wasn't just a tumbled stone on its own until this piece that I've shown you here today. If you look in the chat room, you will see that I've posted a postcard about chrysocolla with a photograph of this particular stone that I'm holding today. So chrysocolla opens the door to truth and inner wisdom. It is first and foremost a communication stone. It certainly helps us to communicate our own truth and tap into the wisdom that we hold within ourselves. This is very much about communication with ourselves. Certainly it can support communication with others as well, but it definitely starts with us. It encourages positive communication. So it encourages positive thinking. It helps us get out of the muck of the negative thinking and shift that to positive. And it also supports compassion. And today what I really want to encourage is compassion for yourself. When I'm talking about getting out of the muck, I certainly do not mean for anyone to pressure yourself or to, be angry or frustrated with yourself if you're still in the muck. It's not about judgment. It's about taking control and stepping up out of that. And that's okay. Wherever you're at in this process is okay. But I wanted to talk about it today because I feel like we've started out the year pretty rough for a lot of people, and that we're moving into a better time. We have to allow the better time to happen. Things can change outside of us and stay exactly the same inside of us. That's where I really wanted to focus today, is how do we shift ourselves out of the habit of being in a negative place, even if things around us have actually gotten better. So that's what I'm encouraging you to think about today, and to get yourself a piece of chrysocolla, because it is a stone that will help to guide you through that process and support you through that process of, really accessing your inner wisdom and your inner truth. Being honest with yourself and accessing that inside of you is really, really important, and chrysocolla is a great stone to do that. So I wanted to share that with all of you and encourage you to look at that and look at it in a way that is non-judgmental. Don't pressure yourself and be hard on yourself. Just simply look at how can you shift things? How can you make things better with your own thinking. Okay, I want to get into the chat room. I am going to be doing some readings today, so if you haven't posted your request yet, feel free to. I'll get to as many of you as I can. Chris in the chat says, years back, our friend walked out on a septic field and got stuck to his waist, and it was like quicksand. Oh boy. Yeah, see? It is incredibly hard to get out of something like that, isn't it? Just because you step into it easily does not mean that you step out of it easily. It takes some effort. That's pretty interesting. I hope he got out safely, because I'll bet you that was not easy to get out of. Oh, Chrysocolla. Somebody's asking for the spelling. It's Chryssocolla. And just so you know, if you're posting reading requests in the chat on the video, I lose them. They roll up. And so please post those on the banner that my producer Scott has posted that's pinned at the top of the page, because I won't always be able to see the questions, your questions on the video. Sorry, that is just sort of how it goes with the video. After the video is done, then I can see all your questions, but during the video, I don't have as much control over it. Okay, let's see. Christine says, last night I felt vibration in the palms of my hands for quite a long time. Made me think of Lakshmi. And my ears have been ringing a couple of times also. Any messages around this? Oh, you know, Christine, my first impression of you, honestly, is that your vibration is nice and high. And I know that you struggle with keeping your vibration up, and you can be really sensitive around energy, sensitive to the energies around you. And I feel like you're going through a period of strengthening where your aura is getting stronger. And so you're feeling energy in a positive way, rather than energy that's more negative and pulling you down. And so I really want to encourage you to continue with that. When you feel that vibrating in the palms of your hands, place that on your body somewhere. See if you feel the energy coming from yourself. And your ears have been ringing, which is an indication that you have divine guidance around you and high vibrating energy around you. It's really, really positive. So I feel like there are messages there for you, but I feel like they're yours to identify and locate. And so I'm not going to read them for you, because I want you to read them for yourself, because I think that you can. But what you need to realize is that your vibration has come up quite a bit. And so you are in a space where you are feeling more divine guidance around you. So remember that that's what you're feeling. That is what's happening. And really start asking some questions and tapping in to those things. So I'm excited for you, Christine. This is really positive. Ooh, Terry says she's watching a pod of orcas traveling through her neighborhood this morning. Oh, I'm so jealous, Terry. I would love to see that. Absolutely love to see that. Thank you for sharing. Let's see, Maureen says, if you have time, may I please have an energy clearing? My left knee is really painful. Oh, 2016 post-surgery. Okay. Oh, and had a fall on 320 and heading back to the orthopedist. Ah, dang it, Maureen. Okay, let's take a look there. I'm going to... Okay, so there are two people. This is interesting. Okay, so Maureen's left knee, and then... Oh, and Liliana feeling pain on her left side. You both have the same problem. So I'm going to walk you through this energetic clearing to help you solve this particular issue. So there are multiple ways that life force energy travels through the body. And one of them is that we draw life force energy in through our left foot. It travels all the way up the left side of your body and down the right side of your body and out your right foot. So it's a breathing in of new energy and a breathing out of old energy. So both of you have a block in the left side of your body that is making it difficult for that cycle to function. And so that's affecting your knee, Maureen and Liliana. That's where the pain on the left side of your body is coming from. So let's do this together. Everybody just close your eyes. And when we breathe in, we're going to draw energy up to the bottom of our left foot. And as we breathe in, we're going to pull that energy all the way up to the crowns of our heads. And when we breathe out, we're going to push it all the way down the right side of the body and out the left foot. And as we do that, we're going to be pulling the energy and pushing the energy. And in that process, it will clear out any blocks that are stopping it from functioning. So we're going to do it 5 times. So everybody go ahead and do it with me. Breathe in, drawing that energy right up to the top of your head. Now breathe out and push it down the right side of your body, all the way out your right foot. So breathe in, up through your left foot, and breathe out, down and out your right foot. Breathe in, up to the top of your head on the left side of your body, and down, out the right side of your body, and out your right foot. A couple more times. Breathing that energy in, and then breathing it back out again. One more time. Breathe it in on the left, and breathe it out on the right. Very good. So that cycle of energy can get affected by surgery, like Maureen is talking about. So, a disruption in the energy body. It can come from a block where the energy gets caught in joints. That tends to be where that energy gets stuck. And so if it does, we just have to breathe it in and push it back out again. So, Maureen and Liliana, I want to encourage both of you to do that exercise several times today and tomorrow, and it will help to improve your symptoms as that part of your that cycle of your energy body is renewed. Let's see. Laura says, I would love a general reading, feeling tired but hopeful, and would welcome some energy to help stay balanced. You bet. Let's see what's going on with Laura. Laura, I really like where your vibration is right now. You're in a pretty, I see vibration in levels, and of course we always want to get it up higher, but there's a certain level at which we sort of function all the time, and then a higher vibration that we get into when we're doing energy work, or we're meditating, or we're connecting to spirit in some way. And Laura, your just sort of general baseline vibration looks really good. I want you to know that. I feel like you have been through a lot of things really in the last year. And now what's happening is you're having a little rest because you've been through some tough stuff. And now it may feel like things are sort of slow, or maybe even boring, like there's not that much going on around you, and that's okay. It can feel sort of like a letdown when you're used to there being a lot of drama, or, a lot of something happening, or lead up to something happening. And when there isn't anything like that happening, it can make us feel tired. But really what you're going through is a period of just rest before any big changes come again. So I just want you to know that really is what's happening, and it's okay to just allow that, okay? So thank you for your question. Angel says, I wonder if you can see my vibration. I've been doing energy work around some toxic people, but I think it's working. Also, my chakra of creativity, does that look clear? You betcha. Let's take a look, Angel. I love that you've been working on releasing toxic people from your life. I like where your vibration is at. There is some healing happening in your auric field. That level that we were talking about in the meditation, that arm's length bubble. I see some healing happening there. That really is after you've disconnected from some negative people in your life, you've had the opportunity to then heal. So the healing is happening, which tells me that there really is nothing else we need to do, but you continue your work and allow that healing to happen. So things can be damaged in your energy body that take some time to recover after you make a change. I do feel that your sacral chakra, which is your chakra of creativity, looks nice and clear. It could be bigger though. And so in order to raise the vibration of it or grow it, you really want to focus on expressing your emotions through creativity. And I think you're working on that, and it's developing, and it will continue to grow and raise in vibration until, you feel like you've gotten to a point where you feel very inspired. but you're doing great things. And I see it in your energy body. I want to encourage you to continue what you're doing and remind you to allow for time for all of that to heal and recognize that it does take time, okay? Kevin says, checking in, felt a huge internal shift about 2 weeks ago, and it has been this way ever since. Thanks to everyone for your support. Thank you, Mr. Alligator Spirit Animal, for your assistance. Yes, I remember that came in with your piece of carnelian agate. That is awesome, Kevin. I see such good things for you. So when I look at you, what I see you standing at a fork in the road. You are at a point where you are about to make a big decision that is a change. You can go the direction that you've gone in the past, or you can take an entirely different road. Now, the bottom line, Kevin, is that it doesn't matter which direction you go. It is your choice. There is no destined choice here. It is only what feels the best for you. But I do feel that pull in you that there are things coming and you are making a decision about which direction to go. I just want to validate for you that whichever way you go is the right way. There is no wrong choice here. It's only about going in the direction that feels the best to you, okay? So I'm excited for you. Lots of really positive change. Mary says, would love to have a message. I'm going through the physical again, okay? But I can also see that I'm not judging it this time. Right shoulder dislocation surgery moving forward. Anything that you can pick up, I'd love to hear. I feel like, Mary, it's really important that you take really good care of yourself physically during this time. You are kind of vulnerable in your physical body, not just from the surgery. And I don't mean that it will have a bad outcome. I think it will have a good one. But recognize that in preparing for surgery, make sure that any other issue that may be bothering you gets addressed, okay? So I do feel like it's time to really focus on your physical body, and even little things that may seem minor to you might actually have a more significant meaning and need to be addressed. So don't miss anything, don't skip anything when it comes to the medical stuff right now. Thank you so much for your question, Mary. Jane says, great show, Kristi. I swear you're channeling my thoughts exactly. I'm lying here thinking I need to make peace with my new normal of 24/7 pain. And then you spoke of making peace with your new normal. I'd love a clearing around my resentment over traveling for a vacation to visit my family, which I'm allowing to throw me for a loop. Okay, you betcha, Jane. Let's clear that. Let's just clear your attachment to that outcome. However it works out, whatever happens will be the right thing. But I'm glad to know that what I have to say today resonates with you. Whenever everything that I write, everything that I talk about on the radio is inspired, I take a moment to reach out and feel all of you and ask, what do we all need to know right now? What do we need to hear? What do we need to work on? Where are we at as a collective? So, Jane, what I cleared was your attachment to the traveling vacation situation. So that whatever happens, the outcome doesn't really matter. If you are not attached to it, then whatever happens will be the right thing, okay? Alana says, any help on letting go of things in the past that I don't need to hold on to anymore? Maybe I need help raising my vibration. Yes, you bet. Alana, first of all, I want to validate for you that I know you have already done a lot of letting go, that you've worked very hard on this, and that this has been challenging for you. So even though you haven't let go of everything that you want to, don't forget to give yourself credit for what you have done, because you've done some great things, and give yourself time. Part of this is having time to trust and allowing overall the opportunity to adjust in the time that you need. So I think part of that is part of it for you, is that it takes you longer than maybe it does somebody else to let go of things. It doesn't mean that you aren't working on it. It doesn't mean that you aren't letting go. I think you are. It's just taking time for that to happen. So I just want to say that to you, that be very kind to yourself and recognize that you just need to give yourself the time that you need, okay? Your vibration is awesome. Your energy body looks great. Thank you for being here and for your question. Let's see. What else have we got here? And I know some of you are asking questions on the video chat. I'm sorry I may not be able to get to those. I can get to one right now. This is Chris. Chris says, hello, my dear. Always good to listen. Anything for me? Let's see, Chris. What have we got for you? Oh, Chris, it's all in the heart chakra for you today. I feel like there's a lot of pressure. Actually, this is a heart-throat block. So the connection between your heart chakra and your throat is where a lot of emotional energy can get sort of stuck and clogged up. So it's really, really important that I'm going to clear as much energy from there as I can as I'm talking with you. This is one of those opportunities to say how you really feel. And that can be hard, and it's been stuffed for a while because it is hard. But it doesn't mean that you can't continue to work toward really being honest about how you feel in a certain situation. And, okay, just clearing as much of that for you, releasing as much of that pressure for you as I can. Sometimes when this energy gets so locked up in here, it's like we can't say how we feel because we can't even get the words out because the energy is so tight in there. So I think it will be really, really good for you for me to clear as much of the pressure in there as I can, and then encourage you to really consider what is it that you haven't said that you've been stuffing that needs to be expressed in some way. Maybe it's expressed to a trusted friend or someone that you can confide in. Maybe it's not even the individual that you're struggling with. Maybe it's just a person who can be unbiased. But somebody needs to hear what's stuck in there because you need to validate it by speaking it, okay? So I have cleared up as much of the heavy energy there as I could for you, and that will free up those emotions and free up those words to allow you to be able to speak them, okay? So thank you very much for being here today. Okay, let's see. Erica says, I love that guided exercise and the crystal choice of Chrysicola. Well, I'm glad. If time allows, I would love an energy scan. You betcha, Erica. I see why you love Chrysicola, because you have a little something in your throat. So I'm just going to work on this as I'm talking. And this is interesting because I just worked on a heart-throat issue with Chris. Sometimes words get wrapped up in like a little ball, sort of like a ball of string, only it's a ball of words that gets wrapped up in your throat. And I feel like there was an opportunity, or not an opportunity, but an experience recently in your life where you did not speak up because you couldn't. It really was in your best interest not to. But then the words got stuck in there just a little bit. So use some Chrysicola to help you to speak truthfully to yourself about how you feel about a certain situation in order to release that energy. Let's see. Chris says she's hanging out with aquamarine today. Very good. That's a great throat stone. I love aquamarine as well. Let's see. Oh, wow. Elizabeth is sharing a picture in the chat of a Chrysicola ring that she made for her mom. It is absolutely beautiful. That's wonderful. I love it. And Laura shared a meme in the chat that says, someday we will find what we are looking for, or maybe we won't. Maybe we will find something much greater than that. Letting go of attachments. I love that. That's a beautiful statement. Let's see, Robin says, I'm 4 months post-hysterectomy and having a pretty rough time getting comfortable with my new normal. Oh, love to you, Robin. So sorry. So extremely tired and yet having trouble getting good rest. To help me move forward, would love some clearing. Absolutely. So I'm going to do some work, Robin, as we're talking in that area of your body. So when you have a piece of yourself removed, like when you have an organ removed, like in a hysterectomy, sometimes your energy body does not return to its regular state of function. Sometimes it needs a little help to heal itself, and the energy part of yourself, not just the physical part. And so I do feel like that's one area where things aren't functioning as well as they could be. And so I'm just going to repair some damage in there that came from the surgery itself that is affecting your physical energy. You said you're so tired and having trouble getting good rest. So the other part of this is that you have a ginormous, is that a word? I don't know. To me it is. Crown chakra. So your mind is running 100 miles an hour, and it's making it very difficult for you to rest. Your brain is just not letting you stop. So I'm going to do a little healing in your sacral chakra, but then let's go up to that crown. We need to clear that. So, of course, recovering from surgery, you end up in a different routine than what you're used to. You end up restricted and unable to do things that you normally do. And so that has a really, it means that you move into your mind in a lot of ways when you can't use your body like you're used to. And so that has created this massive crown chakra. So there's so much energy in swirling around in there that's just causing you to think too much about what's happening and about what has happened and what's coming. And so we need to clear that crown, Robin, in order to give you some rest. So I'm just going to work on clearing the excess energy out of your crown, get it down to the size that it should be, so that energy is just clearing through your crown rather than getting stuck in there. That will help you to rest and help your body to relax and your mind to relax, okay? So really look at that. I would recommend also, if you don't already have it, go to my website, kristibrower.com, and get my meditation called Energy Breathing. Energy Breathing is a great meditation to reset the function and the flow of energy in your energy body. And one of the things that it does is it balances your root, and then it helps you to draw life force energy all the way through your energy body and clear out the crown of your head. It helps a lot with an overactive crown. So if you don't have it, go get it. It's a free download in my free meditations at kristibrower.com. Get that and start using it every day. And that will help to balance your energy body and really clear that crown. I think you'll be feeling a whole lot better. Let's see. I know we're almost out of time. See if I can get to anything else. Let's see. Ramon says, if you have time, can you scan my body? Thank you. You betcha, Ramon. Let's take a look and see what's going on. Oh, Ramon, you are very fast energy, very high vibration, a very fast energy. And actually, I think maybe a little too fast. I wonder if you have trouble staying focused. This is a grounding issue. Your energy is moving so fast. You're not really rooted to the energy of the earth, which is what you need to be in order to feel connected and centered so that you are in control of your thinking. So I'm just going to spend a little time grounding you, and then I'm going to give you the same recommendation that I gave Robin. Go get my energy breathing meditation, Ramon. I think it will help you to ground yourself to the energy of the earth. Slow your energy down just a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot, but a little bit, so that you have a little bit more control over your thinking, so that things happen at the speed that you want them to. I feel like you may sometimes say things you don't mean to say, or make decisions too quickly, and that can be very difficult when it comes to the consequences of the choices that you make. Sometimes you do things that you wish you hadn't done, and it's the speed of that energy that is the issue. So get the energy breathing meditation. It will help to root you to the earth. And Ramon is saying yes, he's agreeing that this is the issue. Get that meditation and really practice with it, because it's going to get that cycle of energy functioning at a good rate, at a rate that gives you plenty of physical energy, but that also allows you to be in control of your mental energy, okay? All right, you guys, I am out of time. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. I'm sorry if I didn't get to all of your questions, but you can always find me over at one2listen.com. I'm there for you every day. If you don't see me signed in, simply send me a callback request or a scheduled call request, and we will set up a time to meet, but I'm always available to you. I just want to say thanks for being here. I really enjoy my time with you every Monday. And the opportunity that I get to look into your energy is such a gift to me. So please stay tuned. Following me is the Keys to Awakening with Velvet On, followed by Kathleen Peterson and friends, and wrapping up with Alita's Audacity, and I happen to know that Aaron Muir is the special guest host for that show today. So stay tuned, and thanks for listening to 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world. Okay. Sorry, hang on. I've got